Sagittarius, hello there, my beautiful friends. We're going to do your general tarot reading for late January, moving into early February 2025. Thank you so much for joining me today. You know, I appreciate each and every single one of you. So let's get right down to business, as always, and start you off with an oracle card here, just so we could dip our toes into energy and see what's happening for the lovely Saggies. Hope you're all doing fabulous and fantastic, my friends. Let's get it going here. My guide, spirit team, talk to me. What do we got for Saggy gang? In late January, early February, we are in Aquarius season. What energies, messages, insights can we take a little peek at? And yeah, we're just going to take a real quick look at this first card. Then we'll get into the full reading itself. At the very end, I'll pull you a bonus card from the Shadowland Tarot just to see what might be in the shadows or what shadow work you can lean into, which is always interesting. But let's get it going here. Let's rock and see what we got for Saggy gang. Please and thank you. What is the vibe for my good friends here? Please, let's get this first card out nice and quick. There it is. Thank you. This card always makes me chuckle because of the lady growing a tree out of her head. I always feel like this is an intriguing piece of imagery. It just always puts a little grin on my face. Now, this is great for information, knowledge, learning new things. It's like a very thirsty mind. And I feel like this is an awesome card. Now, before we fully dive into it, if you're new here, I'll be speaking about the January subscriber surprise towards the end, so you might want to check that out. Also, if you could kindly illuminate that like button, but tapping it right on its third eye, you know, I'd greatly appreciate it. But enough of the promo, into the reading. Let's talk more about this card. So we see this lovely lady here. She's wearing that dress. She's sitting there all amongst these different books, and she does have a tree growing out of her head. And obviously that's very symbolic. The tree is also bearing fruit, so this is a great card for like ideas, having eureka moments, great energy for problem solving, just a really keen mind. Now just know your mind could be in overdrive when this card is here. Could be having a lot of really good ideas, and I would jot them down because for a lot of Saggies, your brain could be going a mile a minute when this card is here, but I feel like for a lot of you, it's in a good way. Now, this could also be the thirsty mind I was talking about as well. So for some of you, there could be different pieces of information popping up where it's like, I need to know more. I need to learn more. And everyone knows Sagittarius. That's one of the more philosophical signs in the zodiac. So this makes total sense. There's a great energy here for learning new things, new subjects, anything that's fresh. So I really do like this, and I love the thirst for new energy. This card could also represent communication because of the written word that shows up here, but I think it's okay as long as your mind isn't too active. It's active, hopefully it's not too active. So we're going to put her over there. She could keep chilling out amongst the books. Let's get into tarot. And I always say the first card here, it doesn't make or break the reading. It's just a little footnote. So let's get you 3 tarot cards in the upright. Then we'll get into that intuitive juiciness. Shuffle it up one time here for Saggy, please. What is going on? And while we get this deck shuffled up and ready to go, let's talk about last week's reading. It was titled The Karmic Return, and I feel like we were looking at big picture energy, especially with the karmic archetypes. For a lot of you, you could be going through a big transformation, whether you realize it or you don't. Now, there could be various things popping back up, whether it's situations, having to revisit them, whether it's individuals. The energy I was picking up last week was like, all right, now I got to deal with this again, or something's coming back around that you just need to touch base with. But we're going to see what shows up for you this week. As you know, energy is very fluid, never set in stone. So when we take this out, it's for you, because we could be seeing your vibe or somebody else's, right? Let's get it going. 3 cards for my Saggy friends, please. What is happening for Saggy gang? There we go. All right, cool. So the karmic energy is still here. We have Lady Justice in the mix. This is usually a pretty beneficial energy for Sagittarius. I do like it. We'll talk about her a little more, though. Let's get a couple more. Connected to Libra, that could be extra important. We have here. Okay. I mean, the mental energy I was talking about, we have the 4 of Cups, so that definitely tracks. It definitely fits. Let's get one more out here, then we'll start talking about it. What do we got for Saggy, please? Oh, okay. We got the Wheel of Fortune here on the back. That looks good, especially for a Saggy reading, because that's one of the cards that I do link to you. Okay, I mean, I don't think every reader does, but I do in my own personal style. But let's go through. I'll give you some of the classical meanings and archetypes, and we'll get into that juicy intuitive stuff. But at first look, first glance, elementally, I feel like it's okay. There is a lot of internal energy happening here. And I always look at the elements first because it always tells me how the energy is going to flow. We have Lady Justice. That's air. That represents the mind. Also communication. We have the 4 of Cups, which usually represents emotion, feeling, creativity. But notice both of these cards do link thought. And we've been saying it since our pal here showed up. I feel like mental overdrive. And that could be good. I guess it depends on how you channel this energy. But there's like a lot of brewing stuff over, a lot of internal energy here as well. And then right here on the back end, we got the Wheel of Fortune. Notice two very big karmic cards are still showing up here. So just like last week, these karmic archetypes are here. So let's go through piece by piece and really start to build this out. Because yeah, there's themes, there's similarities, but there's most definitely going to be some nuance. Position number one, we have the beautiful Lady Justice. Now, I already mentioned it. If you're connected to Libra, this could just be them showing up right there. Lady Justice has a lot of different things that she talks about. It could represent decisions, choices, trying to make the right one, pick the right path. She does deal with fairness and justice in general. So for a lot of you, it might be figuring out, all right, is this balanced? Is this fair? Is this right? It's a very considerate type of energy when I see Lady Justice. Now, she does also deal, aside from the karmic, we'll talk more about the karmic in a second, but she does deal with legalities. So whether it's legal situations, contracts, anything you put your signature on, just be cautious with any legal situations when Lady Justice shows up in the front. But she is the most powerful card of karma, balancing the scales. So whether it is a situation in general, we saw it last week, karma returning, especially with the wheel here on the back end. So the karmic energy is still in play, and we'll definitely want to look at it a little further. But I like Lady Justice until the clarifier tells us otherwise. Now, moving to the center, and of course, with her in the front, the air, the thought, like really mulling something over. We continue that as we move to the Four of Cups. Now we see this person, they're sitting under the tree. It looks like they're having a little snooze. They're thinking. And the universe is trying to hand them the Ace of Cups, and they're just like not really paying attention to it. In its worst sense, this Four of Cups could represent someone that's either one, bored. It could represent somebody that's disinterested. It could represent somebody that's a little disgruntled, not super happy, but not super mad. It's kind of like a blah type of energy. It is very thought-based, and I feel like it's nice because it can be channeled in a creative way. So for some Saggies, maybe you're feeling extra creative. Maybe you need some sort of creative outlet, whether it's art, whether it's music, whether it's writing. Spirit could be asking you to really channel that energy. But again, this is think. This is very strong energy of imagination, but also fantasizing. Now, you might have a specific person on mind that you've been thinking about quite a bit. Someone could have you on their mind with this card as well. So we'll want to look at this further, because it could be very, very good, like that first card we had, the lady with the fruit growing out of her head, or it could be a challenge if someone's trapped in their mind. Now, we get to the back end, another very, very beneficial card. We got the Wheel of Fortune, my friends. Now, this is lovely. I always say that it does connect to Jupiter energy. It's expansive. It represents luck. To me, this is the four-leaf clover of the tarot deck. In the positive sense, it could be something changing to your benefit or shifting in your favor, which is really good. Luck can be on your side in a situation, whether you realize it or you don't, when this card is here. So I think that the Wheel of Fortune is always good, but it does have some drawbacks. Now, it does represent karmic cycles, whether it's beginnings, whether it's endings, whether it's things looping back around. This is the cycle of life. But the big challenge with the wheel is that it moves quickly. It moves very fast, very sudden, very surprising. So we're going to see, is it a situation that's a little surprising? We're just going to have to see how this energy is moving. You might also be a little more daring when this card is in the mix, like willing to test your luck or try your luck. So keep that in mind. I mean, that's a drawback of the wheel sometimes, where it's like, I feel like I'm on top of the world. I'm going to test my luck here and see how it goes. It's very daring, which is big fire sign energy when I talk about it. And yeah, the fact that it does connect to Jupiter, that's your ruling planet. So I want to dive deeper on all of it, Saggy. Let's do it. Let's jump in and clarify. Okay. Let's get a good shuffle here for my Saggy friends, please. What is happening? Guides, what's going on? And yes, this is where I go intuitive with the message, which means I just tell you how it feels to me. So feel free to do further research or rely on your base knowledge of tarot, because as you know, every single reading is about the reader's interpretation, and I'm just giving you mine. What's going on, Lady Justice here? And if you're a reader yourself, please feel free to play along. That's why the box is here. If you're feeling any messages you want to give to Saggy, drop it in the comments. I don't mind at all. Okay, Lady Justice time. What's happening? Why is Lady Justice here? Thank you. All right. this could be good and predictable, but at the same time, it could be frustrating, especially to a mutable sign like Sagittarius. We have the Knight of Pentacles. Now, for some of you, you might feel like there's a process or something where it's taking forever. Forever. It's like a drag of some kind. Now, that doesn't have to be a bad thing. For some of you, this could be really great. For a portion of you, this could be something coming into a state of balance, nice, calm, predictable, quiet. But from what I know about Sagittarius energy, it's usually on the move. You need a little bit of spice of life every now and again. And when I see this energy here, it's like, no, this is calm, this is predictable, this is what is expected. That's at least where we're starting. Don't forget that we have the wheel here on the back end. So for a lot of you, you might be tempted to act in certain ways that you don't normally do. You might be extra spontaneous. I'm already picking that up just from looking ahead. Now, the Knight of Pentacles, you might be connected to an earth sign. So Capricorn, Virgo, Taurus. And I always say knights represent action. They also represent communication. So when we see this, he is the slowest moving knight. So it's like very slow, very detail oriented. So again, some of you could just be going through a process that might seem to be, it might be taking quite a while. And it might not be the most exciting thing, but it's like, oh, well, I got to go through with it, or I got to do it. This is just how it has to be. You might not be super thrilled about it with the energy we have here. Now, I will see if there's more cards of communication coming up. This could be an important or serious talk as well with the Lady Justice and the Knight of Pentacles. It's a no, let's talk this out, let's hash this out. But for the most part, I feel like this is a process that you either need to go through, or it's just energy that's very solid. Okay, so I guess mileage may vary. Some of you, that's a great thing. Some of you, it could be like pulling your hair out. Let's keep moving. Let's keep moving. I think you get what I'm putting down. Let's see what the Four of Cups has. And I want to see if that energy stays that way, because the Four of Cups is very grounded too. But this wheel on the back end, it is most certainly not. Let's see what that Four of Cups has. Why is it here for my Saggies, please? Thank you. Yeah, I mean, we have the Five of Cups, River of Tears. Now, I always say this isn't always worst case scenario. It could just be someone that's a little glum, a little gloomy. We see our pal there. He's all dressed in black, all gothed out, emoed out. It's part of a process. And I know I keep saying that, but both of these cards are like, all right, I'm just going through the process, going through the motions. Whether it's like your daily routine, regularly scheduled program. For some of you, you might start finding some frustration in like your day-to-day, or what your schedule is, or what your routine is. I don't know why that's showing up for you this week, but it's here, and you might need to break that routine a little bit. Now, the Five of Cups could also just represent someone that's like really upset. It really depends, right? Like I always say, it's on a spectrum. It could be something very minor, especially underneath the Four of Cups. This is someone that's a little pessimistic, so I will say watch out for any individuals you're connected to that are way too pessimistic, because their energy could, I mean, it might leach into you, if that makes sense. Like if you're around someone that's always down, you know, and they're always pessimistic and they're always dragging the energy down, eventually that might take a toll on you, if that makes sense. But the big vibe I'm picking up here is like, it's kind of grounded and a little boring, if I'm being honest with you. And I don't like saying that, but again, I don't feel like it's going to stay that way, especially with what we have here. And I feel for a lot of Saggies, you might just be either going through a process where there's something about your daily routine that could really start bugging you, okay? Because it's like, all right, not much is moving, not much is changing. It's like giving me that kind of vibe. Let's see what's up with the wheel. Could be a little discontent. And another thing I'm picking up now too, like one person might be cool with it, another person not so much. Where it's like, all right, well, we're kind of in this boat together. This one seems cool and content. This one is like boring. Let's see what's up with that wheel. Let's see. I mean, it's not terrible, but it just feels lame. Okay, I mean, we do have the Star card, and this is energy shifting in a really, really big way. I always say that the Star, and we are in Aquarius season, that is the card of Aquarius. So for a lot of you, if you have been in this very predictable, slow type of energy, it is not going to stay like that for much longer, because when this wheel kicks in, it's like surprising. So of course, this could be a twist of some kind, like a, I don't want to say a twist of fate, but it's like the situation's twisting quick. There could be a little bit of upheaval. Now, if you are going to get out of your regular schedule, this energy supports that, where it's like, okay, if you are feeling a little bit daring, if you do want to break your normal day-to-day schedule, energy is supportive there for you to do that. But the Star is hopeful. it's optimistic, and it does represent things paying off for you in the end. And I also do say it's universal karmic energy as well. So when I see it underneath this Wheel of Fortune, I do feel like the energy is shifting in a powerful way. So it is like a massive twist. So just know, whether it's you breaking your schedule or it's like, okay, predictable, quiet, boom, the energy shifts and twists in a really quick way. So there could be various situations. And I feel like I've been seeing that for you in like the past month, where it's like, there's a potential shift here, there's a potential twist or a change of energy coming up in a very big way. I feel like you need to be as optimistic as possible through whatever situations you're dealing with. I mean, the future does look bright, though. I do like the outlook, I do like the outcome. And I will say overall, there's a really strong supportive energy from spirit to you. Okay, so if you want to shake things up, shake them up, my friends, because the energy is there for you to do so. And even if you're not, there's so much karmic energy where it's like, all right, well, spirit's going to do it. If you're not going to do it, spirit's going to make it happen. But let's go through and do a quick recap, then we'll get into the shadow card. Very intriguing energy this week. But if you look here in the box, lots of karmic archetypes still, just like last week. But position number one, we have Lady Justice with the Knight of Pentacles in the upright. Some of you might just be going through a process. This energy here in the front could be speaking about your day-to-day life. You might be feeling a little monotonous about it at certain times. It does have a little bit of a dull, dry type of energy going on as well. But a big thing we're seeing here in the front is predictability. Now, for some of you, that could be a good thing. It could also represent a serious talk of some kind as well, where it's like, all right, we need to hammer this out. We need to talk details. Moving to the center, we have the Four of Cups with the Five of Cups. So if this is two people in the same boat, one person might be very content, the other person might be very bored for whatever reason. But if your day-to-day life feels like it's a bit of a drag, spirit could be telling you to shake it up. There's supportive energy for you to do it. Moving to the back end, we have the Wheel of Fortune, that energy of twist with the Star card. The energy supports you. Okay, so I think that's a really good optimistic thing. The spontaneity is good, so it's not like this energy is going to shift in a completely treacherous type of way. But the karmic energy is in the mix, and I feel like it is positive and supportive for the most part. So there could be various situations or things that change or twist or shift, and it's showing up there. And with all the karmic energy, it's here, and it needs to be acknowledged. So please take a screenshot if you want to look into it further. Let's see what's in the shadows. And yeah, I always like to pull one card for the shadows just to see whether it's something within you or something you don't quite see. Shadow cards don't always have to be a challenge. They could be very good too. So let's get you one. Oh, and yes, if you made it to this point in the reading, please feel free to check out channel memberships. I'll put a link for it in the comments below. Beautiful way to support the channel, and I have much love for all my channel members. Let's get this card out. What is in the shadows for my Saggies, please? What is happening? Quick, very quick. Ace of Swords, I mean, this could be good. I always say it depends, right? Because the Ace of Swords, like all aces, could represent communication. This one is usually very straightforward, honest, and to the point, very blunt, just like we saw here in the front. Like maybe there is something you need to iron out the details with, especially with this in the shadows now. But the Ace of Swords, aside from honesty and truth, it being the sword of truth, it could also represent cutting things out. So for some Saggies, spirit could be telling you, like, all right, well, maybe you need to trim this habit out. Maybe you need to change something up. Whether it's behaviors, individuals, situations, the sword of truth can sometimes cut things away. But there is such a thing as being too blunt. And that's the shadow side of the Ace of Swords. So I think for a lot of Saggies, it might just be a balance in the way you express yourself. Like you can be honest, you can be straightforward, but soften it up slightly. Or there is something here about balancing the way you speak, if that makes sense. The Ace of Swords is good, though. It's enlightening. So we're just going to leave it at that, Saggy. That's what I have for you this week. Don't click away just yet, though. I'm going to give you the details. The January subscriber surprise. If you would like to get a personal reading from me and get a little forecast for what 2025 has in store for you, you can check out my website and digital calendar at mastermetaphysics.com to look for availability. But for the January subscriber surprise, we are once again giving away 3 copies of the beautiful Everyday Witches Tarot. It's one of my favorite decks. And if you'd like to get your name in for this, it's 2 simple things, as always, my friends. First, you must be subscribed. And second, let me know down in the comments, what is your main goal for the 2025 calendar year? You'll be entered to win. And at the end of the month, the winners will be announced in my community tab as usual, my friends. Much love, and I'll see you soon.